So we are starting a course on Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu, and we'll be talking about many things. Although this is a very small book, as the name suggests, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu. Bindu means a drop from an ocean. How small this book is, I'll talk about that. And why we are discussing this book in spite of having so many books with us of so many acharyas, and what are the contents of these books. We'll discuss all these things in this course, and I hope this course will help you in two ways. First, to make you understand devotion easily, so that we can grasp the concept. What is devotion? This is the spirit of devotion and the mood of especially our parampara, which is Rupa Anuga parampara, or Bhakti Vinod Dhara, or Srila Prabhupada's mission. And the second point why we want to discuss this book is so that you can get an entrance into Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, written by Rupa Goswami. By tasting a drop, you can understand what's an ocean like. So anyway, this lecture is about the overview of this book, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu. And then the next lecture we'll talk about why this book is written, and the third lecture we'll talk why we want to discuss this book. And then further lectures are about various paragraphs of various sections of this book. We'll discuss in details. We'll take each paragraph of this book. Because it's a small book, it has paragraphs, and that we'll discuss in details. Okay. Here I'm going to discuss an overview of this book. Okay, before I go into the overview, who wrote this book? Now, the author of this book is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who is in Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. And if you see a parampara in ISKCON, after Narottam Das Thakur, his name is there, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And he is a very important person in our Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, in the sense he revived our Sampradaya. When our Sampradaya went into dark ages, let me put it like that, things became pretty messed up. People forgot the message. People were fighting at his time. There were so many Sahajya groups at the time of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. They were fighting with each other for Parakiya Bhav and Swakiya Bhav, and so there were clashes of many misconceptions in our Sampradaya. Not just clashes of right and misconception, clashes of misconceptions. That's how messed up things became, and also people were not just arguing against the concepts of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, but they also wanted to so in Jaipur they also wanted to throw away the deities of Radha Krishna. They wanted to separate Radha Krishna because there was controversy whether Radha really belongs to Krishna or not. So many things were going on, and this time Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur came. Now there was one incident in the life. Vishwanath Thakur anyway wrote many books, but there was one incident in the life of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, or two incidences, where we can understand the importance of this author and how great he was, and whatever he penned, that was directly coming from Lord Chaitanya or Srimati Radharani. Now Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he was once he was going in Vrindavan, I mean to say he was just walking by, I think in Govardhan, and people were really against him. They wanted to kill him. Well, it was such a scenario. He was speaking against Sahajyas, he was speaking against 𝗼𝗺avlambis. 𝗼𝗺avlambi means people who were like caste Goswamis. He was speaking against wrong understanding of religions. He was just cutting up down, inside out, all the misconceptions. He was fighting against misconceptions. People became against him naturally, and they wanted to kill him. So they made a plan, and they said, when Vishwanath Thakur will be coming, we'll be just walking by, we'll be just hide in the bushes, ambush. They ambushed themselves, and when he'll come, we'll just ambush him and then kill him. That's all. So when Vishwanath Thakur was coming, he just paused by and he went into the pond to take a bath. As soon as he entered the pond and then came up, it was no longer Vishwanath Thakur. It was a young girl, young maybe 7, 8, 9 years old girl. And they were surprised, and they approached the girl and they asked him, "Who are you?" And the girl said, "Well, I belong to nearby village, 𝗣𝗹𝘆𝗆𝐺, and I am servant of Radharani, and now I have to go to Yashodhama to give some message." And they were surprised, what's happening? And just as they were watching her, she transformed herself into Vishwanath Thakur. And they were flabbergasted. They just surrendered. All of them surrendered to Vishwanath Thakur. That is Vishwanath Thakur. When Vishwanath Thakur used to write commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, Sararth, Darshini, it is said, when it used to rain, the rain used to fall, or it used to rain in front of him, behind him, on the sides, but not on him. That's the power of his writing. And here we are going to discuss his book, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu. Now this book is called Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu. So Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, that's written by Rupa Goswami, which Prabhupada translated in English as Nectar of Devotion, Nectarian Ocean of Devotion, let's put it like that, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And Vishwanath Thakur's is Bindu, Sindhu Bindu, a drop from that ocean. So how small is this book? How small is a drop? How small is a drop? Drop is a drop, ocean is ocean. We can always understand it's a small book. But how small? Well, so let's compare Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu with Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu, and then you can understand how small it is. The point I am driving at is it's very difficult to actually concise something. To make a summary of something, it's very difficult, especially when you are trying to make a summary of a book where every line is important, every statement is important. Now suppose you want to make a summary of Srila Prabhupada's Gita, okay, which statement you should keep in your book and which statement you should delete? That's a big problem, because every statement of Prabhupada is very important for us. So that was the same problem with Vishwanath Thakur. Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which verses to keep, which verses not to keep. That's very important, and he could do it because he had an insight. He was a spiritually liberated person, and he knew what is most essential for people to advance. And when they understand it's most essential, automatically a desire to understand in details will arise, and they will automatically go to Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and will be able to enter that book. Okay, so Rupa Goswami and Vishwanath Thakur. Let's compare these two books, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu, to give you an insight how small is this book. Okay, Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu has hundreds of verses, literally hundreds of verses. Rupa Goswami has composed himself. He has also quoted from many scriptures, but he himself also composed many verses, hundreds of verses. But Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu, how many verses it has? From Rupa Goswami's book, just 8. He has expertly chosen just 8 verses and some small sections from Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which has hundreds of verses. You can see. That's why that's an ocean, it's a drop. It's literally is a drop. But carries all the essence of that ocean. That's the beauty. It's a very difficult job to do. To speak in detail, to speak, I mean to say, if you want to give a lecture for 1 hour, that's easy. But if I ask you to give a lecture in 5 minutes, and all that what you have spoken in 1 hour, to actually zip it, that's more difficult. Anybody who knows, who gives lecture, they can, they know this. Keeping all the contents but actually zipping it. So just 8 verses, okay. And then Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it has 4 sections: Purva Vibhag, Dakshin Vibhag, Paschim Vibhag, Uttar Vibhag, East, South, West, North. And in that 4 sections you have many chapters or waves. Rupa Goswami puts it at waves. Waves are like chapters. You have many chapters. You have 23 chapters in total. 4 sections, 4 sides, eastern side or eastern section, and 23 chapters. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu, how many chapters? No chapter. How many sections? No sections. Just 26 paragraphs. That's Bindu. 26. Some edition says they divide in 27, some 26 paragraphs. This is how small book this is. And then you see Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it's a thick book, thick like this. Depends on editions. It's printed in Bengali, Hindi, English, but it is this thick. But Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu, entire book can be published in one pamphlet. You can just distribute a pamphlet and you can say this is Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu. This is how concise it is, and it carries all the sense. And then of course the whole idea here is Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is an ocean and this is a drop, but carries all the essence, and that's why the most essential drop of that ocean. The most essential. An ocean, there are so many drops, you know. But Vishwanath Thakur, he chose the most essential drop. This is a drop which can give an idea of the whole ocean. So this is the overview of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu in comparison with Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So what are the topics of this book? Since it is a very small book, what are the topics? It's very simple. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur begins with the definition of devotion, and then he says that there are 3 types of devotion: sadhana bhakti, bhava bhakti, prema bhakti. Then he gives the steps to attain prema bhakti. Then he says sadhana bhakti is 2 types: Vaidhi, Raganuga. And then he says there are 5 types of rasas, and then secondary rasas. Finished, book is finished. Finished. 1 pamphlet, that's all. This is this book, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu. Although small but very big in its contents. Although small but very deep in its depth. And if you can read this book, in fact it is said in Bengali there is a famous saying, Bindu, Kiran and Kana. Was that Bindu, Kiran and Kana? If you have, so it is said, if you have these 3 books of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu, Ujjwal Leelamani Kiran and Bhagavad Amritkan. Now how much rupees you need to buy it? Since these are very small book, they can be printed in 1 pamphlet. All these 3 books need just 3 pamphlets. And how much rupees you need to buy 3 pamphlets? Come on, 1 paisa you need. So if you have 1 paisa, you can go back to Golok. How? Just buy these 3 pamphlets, read them and go back to Golok. You have understood everything what Rupa Goswami wants to give. You have understood everything, at least at the level of essence. and if you are pure hearted, you can grasp it and go back to God. This is what is said in Bengal. This is how important book this is. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.